Now, over here is y equals to 1 over x. Okay, so this is the whole idea behind an inverse variation. You've got a fraction involved. But how much that variation is going to change depends on what you're looking at. And so this is one specific example, but the general kind of equation for an inverse proportional variation is y equals to k over x. And k is going to be some value that's going to link those two variables together. Okay, it's going to link those two variables together. Similar to how in direct variation we had y equals to k times x, this is the same kind of idea. Okay? Alright, can you read this one for me?
If 5 woodwork students take 24 days to complete a job, how long will it take 9 students?
Yeah, right. So same kind of idea, right? If I have 5 students and it takes 24 days, if I have 9 students,
It's going to decrease.
it's going to take less days. Good. Okay. So that idea is kind of ingrained. So more students,
We know how to work that out though.
less time. Yeah, well we're going to find out, aren't we? Okay.
Wow.
It's exciting.
Wow.
So let's think about the relationship that we have. We come back to this idea here, this y equals to k over x. That's what we want to use. Okay? And the steps you want to do are, we set similar steps to direct variation. We have to first set our variables equal to the parameters, right? So I've got students and I've got time. So let's just say, let y equal students and let x equal time. And it doesn't matter which one you choose, right? You might get a different k, but your final answer will be the same answer. Okay? So let's do that. So in this question, they've actually given me some values. It takes 5 woodwork students, how many days?
24.
24 days. So I can put that into this general equation here. So y is my number of students. So y equals to k over x. Then I replace y with 5. What do I replace x with? So y is my number of students. X is the time taken. What should I replace x with in my equation?
24.
Yeah, right. And so the reason that's good is they've given me a scenario where I know the number of students and how long it takes. But they're asking me to find for a different amount of students. And I need another piece of the puzzle in order to work that out. Right? I have to find this k value. Okay. Now you need to think about, alright, I want to find k by itself. So what's the operation I need to do to both sides?
Times by 24.
Multiply both sides by 24. So k is equal to, I think, 120. Is it 120?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, once you have that k value, that's the piece of the puzzle that you were missing. You have the general form now, y equals to 120 over x, because k was the value that you were looking for. And all you need to do now is find how long will it take 9 students. So what did you do next, Lottie?
Well, then you input the value in the first place. So
Yep.
9 equals 120 over x.
So we let y equal to 9, and so then we put in what we know. I know that I have 9 students, so I put in my y value as 9. So 9 equals to 120 over x. Now I'm trying to solve for x, and there's a couple of different ways you can do it. I always like to take it step by step. Okay, so I want to get x by itself. I multiply both sides by what's in the denominator, so multiply both sides by x, and 9x equals to 120.
Divide by 9.
Yeah. And what will x be equal to?
13.333 repeater.
Is that how many days it will take?
Good, right. So remember, don't leave it as 13.33 necessarily. You actually need to specify what you're answering. And here the units is time taken. And the question will specify in what kind of units. In this one, it gives me days. 13.33 days. Okay. Fairly straightforward. And it's, I think it's a cool way to see that the problem looks very simple. And it looks like the solution is hard. But when you work out that the most important part is k, once you find that, you can find how long it will take for any number of students. Okay. Cool. Let's look at another one. Jake, can you read out this guy for me?
A 73 kilo man has a blood alcohol content of 0.059. After drinking beer, find the BAC correct to 3 decimal points or decimal places of a 90 kilogram man who drinks the same amount as a 72 kilo man.
Cool. So we've got 2 variables here. You've got weight and you've also got BAC. Okay. Now let's just double check what this is going to look like. As your weight increases, what's going to happen to your blood alcohol content?
Decrease.
Yeah. So generally your tolerance is higher. Okay. So your your BAC kind of tolerance amount. So the BAC itself, I guess, does decrease. It depends on how much you drink, but we're looking at if they drink the same amount. Okay, so if you compare the two, then it will be decreasing. Okay. So we do the same thing. We set up the equation. Jordan, what was the general equation of an inverse variation again?
Y equals k of x.
Cool. We've got y equals k of x, and like I said, it doesn't matter which one you set as which, okay? Because in the end, you're going to get the same answer. So let's look at the scenario we're given. I've got y equals to the weight, so I've got 72. Yeah, equals to what?
X is BAC.
Yeah. So what's the BAC?
So k over 0.059.
Good. 0.059. And then I'm trying to solve for k, so I'll multiply both sides by 0.059. What do we get for that?
4.248.
4.248?
Yeah.
Cool. And then it's really easy once you find that k value. You have to remember, they're not telling you that you have to find an equation and then find k. You have to do that part yourself. This is the hard part. You have to recognize anytime you've got a question like this, okay, I've got one thing increasing as the other decreases, so that's inverse variation. So the equation I need is this one, y equals to k of x. Solve for k.
on the formula sheet?
I don't think so. I'll double check. So we'll go, I've got the k value now, so I'll rewrite this using k. Can you have a go now at finding for me, if a 90 kilo man weighs the same amount, how much will his BAC be? Okay, of a 90, let me just read the question. Of a 90 kilo man who drinks the same amount as a 70 kilo man. So they're drinking the same amount.
Oh,
And they're
you
saying,
just
yeah.
swap out the like you just put in the values that you have into.
Good, yeah. So you know what's the weight going to be. the new
90
weight.
kilos.
Okay, so at 90, and the weight, sorry, is my y variable, so I let y equal to 90.
Wait, did you say they drink the same amount?
Yeah.
So you put in the amount.
So notice how the amount is not a variable that's here. The only two variables you're comparing is weight and BAC.
So you put
Yeah.
the
But you
other
need to
dude's
find
BAC.
that.
Sorry?
Do you put the other guy's BAC?
You don't do that because you're trying to find, remember, what's the
Find
question
it.
asking? You're trying to find their BAC. The 90 kilo guy. Yeah. You're trying to find the 90 kilo guy's BAC level. Okay. And this kind of inverse variation is kind of limited. It only lets me find comparing when two people have drunk the same amounts. Because the only parameters I can put in are the weight and I can find their BAC. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just don't know, like, what else have we got?
Well, that's actually all you have to substitute in. Because if you go back to this equation, when you substitute in 90 here,
Oh my gosh, sorry, I didn't even look at the thing that had already... No.
always come back to the equation.
Don't worry, I know exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're just trying to find out what that guy, the 90 kilo guy's BAC level would be. So we just solve for x again, multiply both sides by x. 90 times x equals to 4.248. And then divide both sides by 90. What'd you get for that one?
0.0472 rounded to 3 decimal places, because I know that's what you were going to say next. 0.047.
Predict for the future. Now this one, that is lower than that guy, and that's what we were expecting. So that's one way you can really check your answers. If you get an answer that you expect was right, that's one way you can just clarify that. Cool. Any questions? Alright, I'm going to start.